Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Beef Brody, and today we're talking about the dual battery system and all the accessories and how I'm running it and powering it on the 80 series LandCruiser. Now, if you've been following this series for a while, you've seen it come from the parking lot as a stock vehicle that's been sitting out there for 10 years, all the way to the full Overland build that you see behind me. We've hit the trails, we've done it all. We've done bumpers and kitchen systems and everything else, but we have not yet talked about the batteries, the accessories, the power, how we're doing it. So in today's video, that's what we're getting into. So let's jump under the hood. All right, now before I get into explaining what's what and how we're doing it, let's talk about the concept and the theory of why you want two batteries. Now there's a couple of ways you could do two battery setups. You could just connect two batteries to each other, a negative to the negative and the positive to the positive, and essentially double the capacity of your battery. That way when you're running things, you have longer runtime. The problem with that is if you drain those both down and you kill those batteries, you're still sort of stuck and dead in the water with dead batteries, two dead batteries at that point. So to eliminate that, what we want to do is isolate the two batteries from each other. Now, how did I get two batteries in this truck to begin with? I used the Slee Offroad kit that allows you to put a second battery on the passenger side of the 80 series. And if I understand correctly, it uses the 70 series battery tray because it had the battery located on this side of the vehicle. And then you can mount it directly in here. Now, you do have to relocate the windshield washer bottle, but it does come with the bracket to do that. And I did have to do some trimming around the radiator shroud to get this to fit in properly, but it was really no big deal. Otherwise, it fit right in as you would expect. So now that you have both of your batteries mounted in the vehicle, you want to try to isolate them into, you've got your main, your stock original starting battery that runs your engine and all the stock vehicles electronics once you turn the key on, etc. And then you're going to have your accessory battery, or your house battery as some people might call it, that'll run all of your accessories like your refrigerator, your accessory outlets, lights, chargers, whatever. And that way you can run this battery down and kill it. And then you'll be able to start your engine off of the starter battery and be able to charge both batteries back up like normal off of the engine's alternator. So how we do that with an isolator is using something like this that I have mounted here from Ironman 4x4, which is like a smart battery isolator. So it senses voltage from the alternator, and once it sieves over, I think it's 13 volts or so roughly, it's going to close its contact and allow the alternator to charge both batteries. And we turn the key off and that voltage drops from the alternator back to battery base voltage, which is 12.2, 12.4. It's going to open its contact and you can run all of your accessories off of this battery if you have it wired this way. And we'll talk about what we're doing to run all of our accessories. It'll run everything off of this without draining the starter battery. This is a really cool, really cheap, inexpensive tool or product to be able to use to isolate the batteries. You hook up a battery cable from either battery, you hook up the ground, and it's going to take care of the rest. Now, in order to ensure that all of your accessories are running off of this battery, you have to wire them up to that battery. So like my winch is operating off of this battery, and then I'm using this S-Pod to control or manage all of my accessories. And this by far is one of my favorite accessories in the whole truck. It is pricey, but it's one of those things that you buy once, you cry once, and it just works. So how the S-Pod works is that I'm running power from the battery to a circuit breaker, and then from the circuit breaker to the S-Pods, getting direct battery power, but I can switch it off if I need to. If there's an emergency situation, there was some electrical problem, fire, whatever, I could just turn off the switch here at the circuit breaker. It's going to open that and kill any power moving past it to eliminate any problems there. And then all of your accessories are going to wire into each one of these sort of individual locations on the S-Pod. And by the way, if you're wondering what battery I'm using in here is my second battery, I'm using an Interstate Batteries Deep Cycle Group 24 battery. It's nothing super fancy or special. There's lots of other expensive and fancy batteries to use, and that's not what I'm using because I don't think it's that necessary. Okay, so inside the vehicle now, we have the S-Pod under the hood. There's a data cable that's gonna go from the S-Pod to this touch screen controller that I have mounted on the dash here. Now, this thing is super cool. It controls everything that goes, all your accessories that are wired to your S-Pod. It's touchscreen, you control everything here. So your refrigerator, your auxiliary power, your lights, etc. There's a couple of really cool things that this is going to help you do. On top of controlling all your accessories and the fact that you can run a second one of these and mount it in another remote location, I have one set up and I can just like throw the wire up into the tent and control things from the tent if I wanted to. I could permanently mount another one of these controllers in the kitchen system back there. I'll show you that in just a minute. But with your lights, you can dim your lights. So if you're in camp, you want them dimmed down. You can strobe these lights. So if it was an emergency situation, or if this was like a race car and I needed like a flashing light in the desert or something so that people could see behind me, you can do that with this. It's also going to monitor your battery voltage. So if your voltage gets too low, it's going to shut the system down. Now, voltage isn't really the best way to monitor battery health, and I don't know that this is really meant to do that, but it will help save you if you don't have your batteries isolated. It won't completely kill your battery, so it'll turn off the system and all your accessories to help preserve enough power to potentially start your engine. So that is a really nice feature. It's also going to show you how much amperage each accessory is drawing. Now remember, this has, I think it was 30 amps per circuit, so it could be 10, I can't remember. But my refrigerator's running at like 2.5 to 3.5 amps. Each set of the lights on the roof rack is only a couple of amps, so I'm not really concerned about drawing too much power, but it does have internal circuit breakers to protect you from overloading the system and burning up wires, having electrical fires, that sort of thing. So really, really cool system. Now, I've got this plumbed to the back for the refrigerator, auxiliary power, power inverter, stuff like that. So let's go check that out and see what we did there. Okay, back here in the back of the truck, we've got the belly of the beast, if you will, the Goose gear system. So on this slide out, I've got my Dometic refrigerator. It's not the smallest refrigerator, not the biggest refrigerator, but it holds everything that I need on a sort of a weekend trip. And I can turn this on and off with the S-Pod, just like everything else that you see here. This little section up here is just sort of like auxiliary power. I can plug in 12-volt stuff here, cigarette lighter plugs, USB plugs. I can charge the drone, the camera batteries, whatever. I'm also charging my EcoFlow battery bank off of this while I'm driving as well. I can monitor some battery voltage back here. Really, really cool. I'm also using the S-Pod up front to turn on and off and deliver power to this power inverter. It's a little guy, I think it's 300 or 500 watts, but it's enough to plug in some of those accessories that I might need to charge while I'm on the road as well, power the laptop, things like that. I know that was kind of a lot of information to take in, and I went through it sort of quickly. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm always in there answering questions and trying to help out. And we'll also leave links in the description to a lot of the things I talked about that I used in the 80 series. So I hope that this video was helpful for some of you, maybe answered some questions, brought clarity to things, understanding which components should I use or not use. So anyways, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.